when you are talking about external communication. And in the middle, you have this somehow crossed the websites, the social media, the flyers, the events, photography, and many other tools that are usually the most renowned, the most used, the most common and traditional. But it's important when you have to communicate, it's important that you somehow can distinguish between brand and reputation, because brand is what you say and how you behave. It's how you see yourself and what you want to deliver. Reputations is about what others say, the perception, or even more effectively, the shared perception that the others have about you. So that's the reputation. And of course, when we talk about brands, promoting ourselves, we talk about using our own media. So we can control the message, we can convey the message, and we can use and make a better use of the tools that we have at our disposal, because we are communicating ourselves. It's our brand. We are branding ourselves. When we talk about reputation, it's earned media. So it's more difficult to control the message. You can, as in some aspects, try to control it or to influence it, of course, but that does not depend directly on you. So you have here this scheme, which the name even in Spanish is the scheme PESO, which stands for media paid, earned, shared, and owned. So we talked previously about the one, the owned, your own tools, your own media, but also about the earned media. So the media that is outside your institution. And then, as I said, it's more difficult to control or to convey the message that you want through the earned media, through the common media outside the institution. You can control better what you want to convey, the message you want to pass, what you want to sell, what you want to promote about your institution, about yourselves, through your own media. So this specialized communication in the internationalization activities context, in this context that gathers us today here, it's important to be well succeeded. It's important to identify and define very well who are your internal and external peers, your targets. So in the internal, usually the students, the recent graduates, administrative staff, academic staff, researchers, alumni, governance bodies of the university, of the institution, and institutional decision makers. Then at the external level, for you to have an idea, it's more the international students in the sense of the prospective students, the exchange alumni, the partner institutions and networks, the funding agencies such as European Commission is to us, or your governments or other agencies that can fund some of your activities, local partners at the national or local regional level, immigration offices, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, government and embassies, and other relevant stakeholders. So these are the main target groups with whom you communicate, with whom you interact, with some of them daily, with others for sure in a more, in a less frequent timing. But nonetheless, you have to somehow be sure that you communicate well and that you can adequate your message and your tools, your strategies in order to be well succeeded in what you are conveying. So branding yourself, it's make the most of your university abroad and also at home. Never forget about it. It's important that you promote yourself indoor and also outdoor, outside your doors, outside your institution. So here we have a picture which was taken by the students, and it's near our city hall in one of the most renowned locations of the city. And I'm very glad to welcome some of you here in next month during the study visit, and for sure we will have the opportunity to go there. So it's important that you can brand and make the most of your university, of your institution abroad, but also at home. You are the one that knows best what you have as top best. Each one of us knows what is the top best that has to offer. So in this case, in this webinar today, we've chosen working the students target group. So not focusing on staff, we can do that afterwards in a second DHIP. We can go even deeper, but today we will talk a little bit about our experience with this target group. So our brands, international office perspective, let's have this in mind. So it's designing a concept, it's delivering a message, it's being consistent with that message, and monitoring the mobility. Then the reputation, of course, we will get to know it after assessing the results of our work. This slide, this image, it's the recent conceived concept by the International Office together with the Communication Office. It was very important to us to stop a little bit and to think about a concept, develop an image, a concept for our students, both incoming and outgoing. And luckily we have within our team a designer, and this colleague, Maria Fernandes, developed or put designed this image and this postcard, this concept that we were talking about. So the mobility represents an adventure. It's an adventure that begins both for incoming and outgoing students. This is the first part that you see here, and this represents Porto, which is also very known by the part of the city which is World's Heritage by UNESCO, has these small houses, little houses nearby the river. And so this is the starting point, the leaving point for our outgoing students, but also the starting point for those that arrive, for your students that we just welcome this semester, for instance. And so Porto is the beginning of everything and will be the end also for our outgoing students. It will be the place waiting for them with arms wide open to provide them the comfort of coming back home. Then during the mobility, both for incoming and outgoing students, the exchange experience is this mix of cultures that you see in the middle, this cross of cultures, people, customs, habits, food, music, it's culture, and it's also academic difference. So it's the eye that is over there in the middle. It represents the paying attention to everything, the experience, being attentive to everything that is new. But of course, as this aims at being a postcard, it also has this postcard format that represents the saudade. I don't know if you know the word. Well, it means missing home, basically. And so this is both valid for outgoing and incoming students. So they will feel that, and that's good during the experience. Afterwards, the third part is the academic part. And it's also very important to us in our communications, in our strategy. us, the international offices, we have a big concern about this third part, because the mobility aims to be a successful period. So students, they are sent abroad, they go abroad to undertake a mobility period and to be successful. So the pencil represents this high escalade that the students will have to do. It's a kind of a mountain that they will go and just until the top. And until in the top, you'll find this flag. It means, it represents the achievement, the academic success, the achievement, and the hand with this degree that is the recognition of the activity, which is also very important. So the mobility must be recognized, must have this recognition ensured upon the return of the students to the institution. So, some of the best practices that we developed following this concept, we tend to plan and to consider the mobility in 3 major phases. And before the mobility is preparing, during the mobility the concern is monitoring, and after the mobility, we have to assess. It's assessing the results. So as you can see, before the arrival to Porto, for instance, we have some communications with partners, both higher education institutions with our partners, but also with individual applicants, students that want to come and to stay, to spend a period with us. So we developed our information, our graphic supports, our brochures, the flyers, and the language that we use, very graphical one, it's directly connected with this concept of the adventure that begins. And it's very easy to reach that adventure. You just need to follow these quick steps in order to submit your application. If you want to study with us, a very affordable city, a very warm, cozy city with people that enjoy to welcome foreign students. We are a very safe city. We are placed in a very safe and beautiful city, full of history and magic, and it is very affordable. So you can come and you'll see for yourself. As you can see, this is a big facade of our rectorate. It's a big building. And we have here these supports, these graphic supports that are that are big, that have a big dimension. And we have split the concept, the 3 phases, and we used it during the phase that we welcomed international students. And also by the time we prepared the outgoing students. So it's important to always convey the message and to align all the supports and always keep in mind that you have that message, the adventure that has a purpose, and you'll get there, you'll achieve it. Besides that, we have dissemination sessions, welcoming and monitoring meetings, preparatory sessions, cultural coaching like this, cultural sessions, know more about your mobility destination, some tailor-made workshops like this one, cooking Mediterranean food, and some customized events. In here, for instance, you can see a flyer. It's a recent one, also developed under this concept of the adventure that begins, and also has some little reminders that are very useful for the students, what they have to keep in mind and to remember before, during, and after the mobility, to assure that they conclude everything and they follow all the necessary arrangements and procedures to be successful during the mobility. Then, very difficult, the monitoring at distance. It's quite different when you have your students or your outgoing students before departure or when they arrive, or when you have your international students arriving at your international office. You can take care of them. They are in front of you. You know that they're there. But when they leave, when they go abroad, it's far more difficult to monitor at distance. But it's important that they feel that you care, that they feel that you somehow communicate with them, and that they can count on you in every single situation they need, whether it is just a difficulty with the academic part, or if it is an accident, or just to say that everything is okay. So after 1 month of the start of the mobility, we have a scheduled follow-up, and we send an email that usually aims at knowing if they are okay. So it's sent 1 month, roughly 1 month after the start of the mobility. And so students are asked, is everything okay? How is your mobility? Do you need something from us? Something very simple. Very simple and short message, because our students really appreciate these short messages. So we know that we get 3 types of answers. So no answer, it's 1 type. And usually, what do you think? No news, good news, right? So, okay, no news, good news. Then you have that student that, I'm glad that you asked because I have a difficulty. Well, my scholarship hasn't been paid yet. What happened? Is there anything missing from me? Can you help me? Okay, so we can help them and we can provide some support. Sometimes it's such a small help, but it makes all the difference. And then the third one, we love this third type because it's the kind of answer that you get, that the student just says, thank you for asking. I'm really happy. This was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Thank you, University of Porto. Thank you, International Office. I'm very happy, and thank you again so much. So, of course, we love to get this kind of feedback too. But we only got this feedback because we asked if everything was okay. The student usually does not have the initiative to contact us unless he has a problem. Then in holidays and occasional, some special occasions, we also send an email, like in Christmas or birthdays, or even in crisis context. This is very important. For instance, it's quite frequent to have our students that just go abroad and that they are in a mobility period in Chile. Sometimes they are affected by the earthquakes, and when we know by the news about an earthquake in Chile, in Santiago and Valparaiso, we contact immediately our students. When a student, for instance, writes to us saying that he suffered an accident or something, we can help him by contacting the partner institution to provide some local specific support, even in the hospital, or making sure that he has all the support locally that he needs. And we have these postcards, for instance, developed for this with desires of with the message of speedy recovery. But also, as you know, unfortunately, from a couple of years ago, we had a big number of these terrorist attacks in Europe. And we also had our students in Paris, in Manchester, in Brussels. So it was important. The students, they really felt this was an aspect they were not, they were not expecting. Some of them, they were not expecting such a quick action and this concern, this care from their university, from their home university. So they always can count on us. Of course, that when something also terrible happens with some conflicts, we also can send messages to our international students, to our students, incoming mobility students that are here at the moment, at that time, and we just ask them if their families in the country are okay, if they need something, some support from us, some contact to the embassies and so on. So this contact and this being aware and being there present, even when they are at distance, is very important. And of course, we have a weekly Skype, such as you can see over there. And so every Friday morning, the colleagues in the outgoing team, they are there with the Skype, and they can help the students that prefer to use this. So we have the phone, we have the email, we have the Skype, and of course, we have the social media. And we have these exclusive Facebook groups that are really enroll all the students that are in a mobility period and or exchange within the same academic year. So it's important for them because they can make some questions, ask for support from their peers, ask for an opinion regarding accommodation, or something related to the country. So it's very important that you also can stimulate this kind of tool and make the most out of the social media. Another thing that we consider it is a very good practice that we love, it's raising ambassadors. The student that you see in that picture is an Indian student that came in an exchange. He's an Indian student, Deepak Wagri, and he was very active and participated in every activity that we designed for the international students and the exchange students. So he was very active. And this picture won an award, a prize, within a competition that we put in practice some years ago. And that we call Wear Your T-shirt, your UPorto T-shirt competition. So every student outgoing, incoming, they get in their welcoming or their farewell kits a T-shirt from the university. So some years ago, we had always this same problem. We wanted to develop a new flyer or to use to make a presentation more colorful, and we have no pictures. We had no interesting pictures of our students. So we put this competition in place, and we have been assisting to this high success that the competition has become. So raising these ambassadors means that our students, both the outgoing and incoming, receive this T-shirt, and we want to see how far they take the university with them. So as you can see, it's an initiative that we already gave the students, we already offered the T-shirts. And then we just made we took the opportunity, we seized the opportunity of having more pictures, saying to the students, come on, if you want, you have that T-shirt, you can use it, and you can just show us how far you can take us until where it can be in a very iconic place or a very significant place to you during your mobility. And so we have been receiving lots of very beautiful and interesting pictures. In this case, there are only girls, but I can assure you that the students, the male students also participate, and we had some winners, but I wanted to somehow highlight here one student from Argentina. Feel the poetry in UPorto. So they have to submit a picture, upload of a picture they have taken, and then put some a phrase that can sum up their mobility. In this case, it's an outgoing student of ours and the 3 incoming students that we welcomed. So now we have quite an interesting range of pictures from our students that gave us the permission to use them and that are very creative and very original. And the students, they feel involved. They have this sense of belonging. And it's very important because we want them to feel that our care, our concern really is meaningful, and we care about them, about their experience. Their experience is very important to us. So then it's time to look and pass, evolve from the brand to the reputation. So we have to assess the results, because the reputation, as we have seen, it's the common shared perception that the others have about us, about the university. So you have mechanisms that you can put in place, and these are the most traditional and common ones. Have your say, like you can have a blog or a place in a specific, in your intranet where students can leave their testimony, or you can just, well, invite them for sessions, for testimonial sessions, for promotion, dissemination of opportunities, and you can call them to share the experience and give their testimonial, but also through surveys. These surveys are usually the most, let's say, most accurate ones, and especially if they are anonymous. So, you are unique. Tell us about your adventure. We welcome the students back, and we have, as you remember, portal with these arms wide open, the starting point, and it's again the returning point to our students. So when they arrive, when they get back from the mobility, usually and fortunately, they come here to the international office a little bit sad, and that's important. If they come happy, something wrong with the mobility. If they come a little bit sad because they just spent the best time of their lives, they just left out of their comfort zone and went to where the magic happened. They made new friends, they had new habits, new ways of seeing the world, new ways of working, of studying, of seeing and joining others for study or to teamwork. It's really important. So when they come, they tell us, and we want to know. Every student is important. Every student has their say. So every one of them is unique, and you have to make them feel that you are unique. Tell us about your adventure that began. Now it seems to have reached to an end, but maybe there's another opportunity, and we can tell you about them, the other opportunities that we have available. Regarding the surveys, we have our own surveys within the university, but I would like to share with you this small part of a survey that is the directly submitted by the Erasmus Plus students in a platform called Mobility Tool. Not sure, I'm not totally sure if all of you are aware of the mobility tool, but it's a platform that from the European Commission. So our students, both the outgoing students, the students from the University of Porto and the students from other partners HAYS coming from all over the Europe, they have to fill and to give their feedback in this report, the final report, and so they give their opinion on what was really a positive point. They can highlight the positive aspects, and they also can add some constructive criticisms, some suggestions, make suggestions in order to improve. And we really are very attentive, and we care about the results because they're very important. They lead us to what should be kept, maintained, and even improved, and what should we change because it's not working so well or should be improved. So as you can see, all the students that were with us, the Erasmus Plus students, in projects between 2007, 2019, 2017, 2019, from a total of more than 1,000 incoming students, 93% of them stated that they were satisfied or rather satisfied with their mobility experience in general in the University of Porto. And our outgoing student mobility, more than 800, almost 900 students that submitted the final participant report stated 95% of them stated that they were satisfied or rather satisfied with their mobility experience in general. And this survey is very complex, it's very complex, very long. Well, I must be honest, sometimes students, they tell us that it's boring to fill so many questions, to answer to so many questions, but it's mandatory by the European Commission. But there they can state if they had the proper support from the sending institution, if they were well treated, if they got equal academic treatment, if the payments of the scholarships were made on time, if all the arrangements corresponded to the expectations, what were the most positive aspects and less positive of the mobility, if they achieved something something impressive, like if they developed a new product, if they made any remarkable discovery during the mobility. And so it's interesting to analyze with attention, with care, all this information. It allows us to grow. The results, they make us very proud, but of course, there is always room for improvement, and we still work on that. And well, I couldn't resist to put this here. Even if you are on the right track, of course, you'll get run over if you just sit there and wait. So even if you do something well, if you do something that really gives you the results you expected, you have to innovate. You have to keep on the good work. That's how you should handle all your communication, all your messages from the international office perspective in this case. So here, what we made, and I hope this works well. This is a video that we just launched last February, and the stars are our incoming students. Some of them incoming exchange students, and some others international degree-seeking students, and they are the stars. Any of our students could have done this. So we invited some of them, but this is representative of our students and of our university and our city, what we have to offer, because we really want to be trustworthy. And they will see when they arrive that this is really what is expecting them, as it was expecting the other colleagues. Let's see if it works. How the sound.
Are you looking for a new adventure? Ever thought about studying abroad? Do you enjoy a modern and vibrant city? Or do you prefer that old, traditional charm? The hustle and bustle of the busy streets? Or the grass rubbing your fingertips? Do you need a place to study alone? Just reading books? Perhaps you want to move in one creative way. Do you prefer a relaxing city in the riverside? Or a calm place to sit, touching the development? Spontaneous. Enjoy the sunset with your friends. Have those loud music
It had some delay, but fortunately you could see. See? So do not forget, gentle reminder, as you can see, this is the concept behind The Adventure Begins. And our students, in this case, our outgoing students, happy. They were just about to start this adventure. And we just want to remind you that when you communicate yourself, be meaningful. So be authentic, give some human character to this message that you convey. And this message is very important, so be consistent with it. Don't change it in all that you have. Be creative, seek innovation. Don't sit or else, as you have just seen, you'll get run over. And be truthful. Because this is a very appreciated and a very added value, a high added value to your communication. People will believe you because you have a brand and a reputation that they cannot, it's remarkable. Just to finish, it was really a great opportunity when I've been there with you. Some of you I met in person, and this is still the message, still the saying that occurs to me. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so this is a fantastic project, and the name is also very interesting because you can say you go deeper, and these deepening webinars will, I hope, contribute to develop the HAYS internationalization policies of our partners HAYS. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Luisa. So thank you very much, Luisa, once again. It was very profitable, your presentation. It's now time for anyone who wants to address some questions to write them down, please, in the chat.
Do we have any questions?
Anyone? Are you having difficulties with connection? Vou unmute all. Desbloqueei o microfone de toda a gente, Margarida. Que dizes? Crachar. A Helena diz que está a ouvir mal.
So probably the message was very clear. I'm happy. Usually the first question is always the more difficult, but well, if no one has questions, probably it's because it was all very well explained.
Of course it was. Regarding the study visit, do you have some questions also?
Very cool. Thank you, Paola.
A break. Well, if there are no questions for now, we can take a mini break because in some minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes, we will start with the next webinar with Raul Santos, the director of the communications office of the university. So please wait a little bit, and if you have some questions in the meantime, you can write them down in the chat room. Okay? See you in some minutes.